Well. That is 94 minutes of my life that I don't think I will ever get back. How's it going, everyone? It's Charlie, and welcome back to the Chatting Leeds YouTube channel. And it's time for another live instant match review with myself and Owen from All Leeds Crest. Just before we get into it, make sure you're smashing a like, make sure you're subscribing, commenting. I want to know everybody's opinion on that dross that we've just had to endure there. And make sure you're hitting the notification bell and checking out Owen at All Leeds Crest and, of course, the White Wall podcast as well. Owen, talk to me. How are we after that?
I'm all right, mate. I do feel like 94 minutes of my life I'll probably never get back. I think I spent more interest in the Ipswich-Liverpool game on my phone than I did actually watching our own game. Obviously, there's a lot of key areas we're going to talk about during the time on the show today. But Charlie, I don't even know where to start, man. I don't even know where to start. I thought it was dog shit from start to finish. Sorry, language, my apologies, but it's raw, it's rural.
It's fine.
It's like, I'm glad we got the point. I'll see the optimistic side of things. I'm glad we got the point. It's 10 times better than what it was when we were at the Hawthorns last season. I'll take the point. But my God, it was like a few people have put in the comments, and a lot of people I've seen on Twitter. It's kind of thing, isn't it? It's, you almost feel like you want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm the exact same. I was actually checking the Ipswich score more than I was watching our game, in all honesty. I was going to make notes in preparation for this, but I'll be honest, guys, I haven't, because I don't know what I would have actually wrote down about that. There wasn't any, well, yeah, a lot of that's probably anger and like a therapy session with yourself there, I bet.
Do you know the honest truth? It was generally from second minute to, where's it gone, to the 59th minute where I gave up. It was mainly, this person's lost the ball, that person's lost the ball. Where's the attack? Why are we not pressing? Oh, a good slide tackle from Firpo in the 26th minute, and that's basically literally it. Hoofball. Yeah. That is 59 minutes worth of notes into 2 minutes. Done.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, as you've said, there'll be more specific things for us to get into, but we'll just get into some comments before we go any further. Well, that was, and as Owen said, just wanted to put you to sleep. We should take the point considering it's early days. I mean, I understand that logic. And by the way, I am happy that, I think this game was a must not lose, just given everything, obviously, that's going on in the background. Hi, Alfie, how are we doing? And Jay's in the building as well. So let's start with the lineup. I always like to get the thoughts of the lineup. I mean, it was pretty much as we all expected, really, wasn't it? I suspect there would be a change that you would have made, a certain individual maybe not in the team. I think I agree now. I did predict that Piroe would start the game. I don't think that was out of wanting. It was just I knew Fark would do it. I just knew he would put Piroe in there just as an easy option now that George is not at the club, sadly. But how did you feel, Owen, when you saw the lineup? Could you see this coming, really?
Well, I mean, the lineup I posted on my socials, I didn't have Piroe in my lineup. I had my front three of Nonto, James, and Joseph. I didn't have Piroe going on at all. When I saw Piroe, I thought, do you know what? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He slotted a delicious ball through to Aronson last time we played at home at Ellen Road, and obviously he scored. Well, Aronson scored, and I thought I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. And I saw him today, and my heart sunk when I saw him, and I saw from sort of like second minute until the point where he came off. I was like, just why? Who is this dreadful, lanky piece of just it made no sense. He created nothing going forward. The ball spent most of its time away from his feet or in the opposition's feet, and I don't know. I mean, I could be here for about an hour and a half talking about how crap Piroe was, but guys, you don't want to hear it. No, I mean, I've said it all along and no one believed me. I said that Joel Piroe is not the answer. He doesn't fit in this formation. And I got laughed at. And today I've just seen on SofaScore, they've given him a 5.9 rating. I think that's too good, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think I'd have given him that either. In all honesty, and I think it is a real shame, really, because I think when we signed him, I was buzzing. I thought he would be great in this side, but I think as the course of last season went on, and obviously the first few games we've seen now, it's just not worked. It hasn't worked at all. How he got 14 goals last season, I don't know. But the thing that really infuriated me with Piroe, I think it was in the first half, where he actually got into a really good position on the half turn. He managed to shrug someone off, and all he had to do was either play James in on the right or play Nonto through the left. And what did he decide to do from about 30 yards out? Shoot. And it wasn't, fair enough. He's a finisher, isn't he? So he's going to try it. But from that far out, and the pace on the shot as well was just so easy for the keeper to just leave. I think he put it wide, actually. But I was screaming at the telly when that happened.
That was the 18th minute and 48 seconds. I put that down.
Exactly. I mean, an opportunity there early on in the game, first sort of 20 minutes, if you call it. And again, I'm not saying it would have ended up in a goal, but his decision making in that final third is shocking. And if that is the answer to Jorginho Rutter, then, as I said in the group chat, I might take up knitting. If he is the answer to Jorginho Rutter, I'm going to start a channel about knitting. And I think it would be more entertaining than talking about that barrel of, I'll say it, shit, because it was. Yep. Let's just get into some comments anyway. I've got more chance of getting in Taylor Swift. I was reading it and then I had to stop me. Mike, you're not wrong. You're not wrong, mate. You're absolutely not wrong.
So true.
And Alfie's in with a donation. Really do appreciate that, pal. That's much appreciated. Hi, fellas. Hope you're all well. Keep it up. Thank you, Alfie, mate. I appreciate that.
Go.
I think Isaac's on the white wall with a simple one-word review there. Yeah. Jay's saying the lack of quality was shocking. Couldn't string two passes together. Decision-making was poor. Goes to show we need bodies in. Well, yeah. I mean, if the Borough game didn't confirm it, then that definitely did. Because, all right, the first 11, it just didn't work today. But you're looking at the bench, and you've got Aronson, Bamford, and Rothwell are probably the three. And by the way, I ain't saying they're great replacements, but out of the subs that we had, they were the best options we had to come onto the pitch. And that is a sad state of affairs, isn't it, Owen?
Yeah, I've just got the substitutions up right now. I mean, Brendan Aronson obviously came on, Joe Rothwell came on, Patrick Bamford came on. Obviously, then you had the likes of Darlow, Verba, De Bayo, Byram, Crew, Geldart. It's not a strong bench, is it? I mean, compared to what we had when we had Cree, when we had when we had Rutter and Archie Gray, you could bench the likes of James and bring him on as a replacement, as an attacking option. You could bring on the likes of, like I say, an Aronson and change the game over. I mean, I know Aronson came on today, but looking at that, it almost feels like we are in 2020 Marcelo Bielsa era, apart from we've got a worse manager and a different formation and tactic, where we're trying to rely on poor quality on the bench and under 23s. I feel like I'm going backwards in time.
Yeah, I mean, this question might not really be relevant, but I just thought I'd ask it anyway. If Georgie Rutter's in that team today, do you think we see a different performance from Leeds?
100%, by far. He runs at defenders. He brings defenders in. He draws fouls in. He gives Nonto, James, and Joseph an opportunity to actually get in within the box. Whereas now it just looked lackluster. It didn't look anything apart from like a flat ham sandwich. It looked awful.
Yeah, and it really does beg the question. I mean, it's clear, I think even a 2-year-old could notice that Piroe is not it in terms of that Georgie figure in the team. So it just, like I say, it does beg the question, who can we sign that? I mean, personally, I don't think you can really replace Georgie, but I think you'd need 2 or 3 players just to at least just replace the goals and assists that he could have potentially brought to us. Obviously, there's a few rumours floating about a certain individual at Sunderland, but we'll speak about that in a little bit. But obviously, there is another player that I want to touch upon as well. And again, it's early days. It is early days, and I will just say that. But Jayden Bogle, once again, I thought was shocking. I thought it was really, really bad. I thought, what was the West Brom's player on that side? Was it Fellows?
Fellows, yeah.
He absolutely, and again, I'm not saying Fellows did anything great in the game. There's no goals, no assists, anything like that. But in terms of just having someone's number, I thought Fellows absolutely rinsed him down that side today. And the fact that he got a booking early on meant that he couldn't even, defend like he would probably want to defend for the rest of the game. And it was a silly foul to give away. There was one where he nearly gifted them a chance through on goal. I mean, is there anything that you can see from him at the minute that means he can grow into the team and get better? Because I'm at a loss at the minute, mate.
Well, here's another one that I wrote a note on. Actually, obviously, it was in minute 4. He defended it against Fellows quite well. Got the ball, shielded it, turned away, and obviously played a nice pass down the line. I thought this is the kind of the Bogle that we need, and I thought from there it would have been ace. And then going sort of down throughout, throughout the match, and then it got to like 21st minute. Bogle dives in for no reason, left hand side of the box and booked. Unnecessary free kick. I'm thinking, wow, that took a turn for the worst, didn't it?
Yeah.
But since that, I want to believe in him. I want to think he'll do well in the defensive structure. But right now, all I can see is him just making stupid mistakes. And I get Firpo did the same thing. But you'd at least expect a player of that caliber and that ilk, who has played Championship football for quite a while, knows the league, he knows the Premier League, he knows what it takes to get out of the league. You don't want to be going in and making stupid decisions. We paid up to 7 million for the player. You'd expect him to perform like an Ampadu did. Same price, 7 million from Chelsea. Ampadu being one of our sort of top end players. But Bogle, I'm not sure. I mean, I want to hear what the chat has to say as well. I mean, Bogle, for me, would you say we still need a fullback? I mean, I still think we do. But yeah, Bogle's on a short leash right now for me.
Yeah, I definitely do think we need another fullback, whether it's on the right or the left. I'd potentially argue more a left back just to cover for Firpo, because albeit his yellow card was more of a 50-50 challenge, really. They both kind of went in for it, but he's a walking yellow card, so he'll easily have a suspension at some point this season, and he's a walking injury as well at times. So we definitely need a fullback. That's a given. But like you say, first sort of 5-10 minutes, I thought Jayden Bogle was good. I thought it was decent. I thought, right, this is the right back that I want to see. But then he just got progressively worse. I think he got worse from the booking onwards, because I don't feel like he could really defend, like I say, as he would want, in all honesty. But guys, just before we go any further, there's 12 of you in the building. If you wouldn't mind smashing a like, and please get your comments in, and I'll get through as many of them as I can. Just get into a few before we move on. Went to sleep for 20 minutes in the second half. Yeah, it was one of them. Alfie says, wish I didn't bother going. God, were you there, mate? Wow. Wow. I'll be honest, I am glad that I didn't try to look for a ticket for this one after watching that. I can't lie. Any chance that Leeds will sign new players in time for the Sheff Wednesday match? I mean, that's the $1 million question, isn't it, Mike? I think, what is it, 6 days until the Sheff Wednesday game? It's the Friday night, isn't it? So
Farker did say that it's going to be hours/days until the signing comes through. So who knows?
He did, yeah, that is true. 6 touches in West Brom and Jarvin bench. Lowest since Farker took up. I mean, yeah, I think he means box there, but yeah. Yeah, it isn't good, and David's on your wavelength there, I think, Owen. Yeah, I think I am on board with it now. We need replacements, we need players. We'll speak about this man in due course. Don't you worry. But yeah, I thought just overall, mate. I thought I actually can't believe how boring it was. I mean, at least under Bielsa, even though it did get sour towards the end of his reign, you knew the plan. You knew the game plan. You knew that everybody knew the game plan. We had an identity. But I think since then, under Marsh, there's been periods with Avi Grazia, Scabala, Big Sam, whoever, Farker now. I don't know what our identity is anymore. I don't know what the plan is. I think I've got a rough idea of what he wants to do initially in a game, but then I think his subs baffle me. The timing of his subs baffle me. And there's no... I didn't see anyone out on that pitch today that wanted to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, really. And it was blatantly obvious from about 10-15 in that I feel like he's set up to play for that draw today. And I think that's... You could argue it's all right because we're away from home, but I think given the context of everything going on, I think a win would have boosted the fans, it would have boosted the team, and at least given a bit of positivity to move on with. But yeah, I don't know what our identity is at the minute, mate. Help me out.
Do you know what? I don't know how this comment's going to go down, but I'm going to say it anyway. It almost reminded me today of a Pep Guardiola trying to take over a non-league football side and getting them to do tiki-taka football.
Yeah,
it generally looked like it where they tried stringing them 3 passes together, but then they'd get the first pass and then bollocks the next one, and the ball would go out of play. I mean, there was one key moment where I don't know what Piroe was doing in the first half. He ended up like knocking the ball or trying to knock the ball around a player and knocked it out of play. I'm like, the ball's supposed to be on the pitch, like in between the lines. There's a reason why the lines are there. And progressively, I mean, there was so many times Ampadu, hoofball, lost the ball, trying to get it to James, Strike, hoofball to Nonto, lost the ball there. I think there was a Rothwell chance where he lost the ball. Piroe lost the ball. Joseph lost the ball. And I'm thinking these key areas where we're losing the ball religiously over and over again, I have to look at how many times we lost the ball later on and sort of get back to everyone. If anyone knows, please comment down below. But the amount of times we lost the ball is key because at that very moment in time, you lose that ball, they counter-attack and score. Whereas that moment in time, we could have the ball, play it forward and have a dangerous attack. But yeah, it's boring, lethargic, dead, draining. I can't, like you said, Charlie, I just can't see what type of style of play it is. The only positive is a draw. I'm glad about.
Yeah, and the result in isolation, when you think about it, is all right. A point at the Hawthorns, is I think that's a good result for any team in this league, really, given how well they are at home. But it's just so slow. It's just so slow. It's so boring. Sideways passing, backwards. The amount of passes I saw go back to Melier were just ridiculous. And I don't know if you could hear it on the TV, but yeah, nearly every time we went back to Melier, or a few times anyway, I heard the away crowd booing, and I'd have been the exact same. You're chasing a game away from home, and there was numerous times where like Bogle or Firpo, there'd be a ball upfield that could have easily been played, but no, we'll go back to Melier and just start again. And it was just that whole game. And I tweeted this out, I think, when the lineups got announced. No balance in midfield whatsoever. Ampadu and Gruev are the same player if in that they both sit deep, they both help out the defence. So where's the link from the defence into midfield into the attack? There is none. But yet when Joe Rothwell came on, he was dropping deep for the ball, but again he was trying to progress up the field. He was looking up, and yeah, even if he did play it sideways, that wasn't his first option. He was looking forward all the time, whereas I think Gruev and Ampadu, to a degree, are both a bit safe. And like you say, too easy. And you know what else as well I've noticed is that they just look more comfortable. in possession than we did. I feel like ours was a little bit frantic. We were trying too hard at times. And that's ultimately why we kept having to go back to Melier, because they were scared that every time it went into Piroe, every time it went into Joseph or Nonto or James, well, I think you've said it, we kept losing the ball all the
Far
time.
too many times. Far too many times. It was too many. Far too many for a game like it was. Like I said, I'm not going to sit here and moan too much, because at the end of the day, a point away from the Hawthorns and Carlos Corberan's team is enough to kind of make me a little bit smile. But the actual team performance, defense was solid, by the way. Defense was solid within reason, but from midfield to attacking to striker, non-existent. There's nothing.
No,
I mean, it proved it. One attack on goal, one shot on target, which came from a corner, and a Pascal strike header. That's it. Do you know what I mean?
And I think it tells you how well that Leeds defended today. That Pascal Strauch ended up getting up player of the match from Sky, and I think that was rightly deserved. In fairness, I thought he had a really good game. Like you say, the only player for us to actually have an opportunity at goal, really, and that's, again, that is worrying, as he is a centre back. But then again, when things are not going well, the players that you're bringing on, all right, Joe Rothwell did okay, I thought. When he came on again, he was just fairly steady. I don't think he did anything too amazing, but I don't think anyone did. Brendan Aronson, I mean, he kind of just had a little runabout down that left-hand side.
I didn't see Brendan Aronson at all that game. I'm not even joking. I didn't even see him.
No. And then, of course, you take Joseph off, and who does he bring on to try and get a late winner? Patrick Bamford. Again, did Bamford do anything in that game? I don't think so.
But this is the thing, though, Charlie. This is the reality. We haven't got any. Who can we bring on? This is what I mean. You can't use the same 11 because it's not going to work. But like you bring on a Joffrey and put him in striker. Is he going to do anything? Probably not. Bamford's you put to be your next option. Bamford and Piroe, the two players that realistically I don't want to be playing at Leeds. But you haven't got anyone unless you're doing the logical thing by moving Nonto into strike, bringing Aronson on and keeping Joseph on and letting him play the full 90 minutes. But there's nothing else you can do.
Just briefly, I mean, what did you make of Joseph today whilst he was on?
I mean, I thought we were all right, but
yeah, I mean, I feel like it is a bit unfair, really, to like critique him because he had zero service throughout the whole game. But again, there was the odd run off the ball, which, if a Leeds player had have actually, seen him and played the ball forward rather than going back to Melier, then he might have got onto it. But again, I feel like he held the ball up all right today. But again, I feel like it is a bit unfair to critique him because he had zero service throughout the whole game, really. But we'll just get into some more comments. David saying, do the 49ers care about the club? I mean, I think that's a different topic for a different day because I think we'll end up being here for about an hour. Speaking about that, Jay doesn't think Bogle was that bad. He was caught out a couple of times, but so did Firpo. I have to disagree there, Jay, mate. Unfortunately, I thought Bogle was quite bad. I will give him the...
Bogle was awful. Like I said, the only thing he did was that 4th minute where he actually got the ball from what is it called? And yeah, no, he's not great.
I'll give Bogle the first 10 minutes, but other than that, I thought it was really poor. This sounds like a really good shout.
Could you imagine?
Haaland, Sane, yeah, I mean, yeah.
Do you know what? We have them players under Farker. He still plays 4-2-3-1, still plays defensive, and we still don't attack properly.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew that would come in. But it is right, though. It is right. Poor game, but a clean sheet against a contender. I mean, yeah. Farker, good point. Pleased with Piroe's effort. Please don't tell me he said that. Please don't tell me
he hasn't.
He hasn't said he's happy with Piroe's effort. Isaac, please don't wind me up. Please don't. I mean, prior to the game, he did mention the word rebuild again, which really annoyed me. But yeah, point is good away from home against a potential team that might be challenging for the place. But yeah, it is. Like I say, as an isolated result, I think me and Owen can both agree, as an isolated result, it is a good result. But there's more outside issues that I think everyone's more annoyed about. You know, that team performing like that is not good enough. Farker at the minute is not good enough. But is it the squad depth that's affecting this? Is it the players being affected by our best players leaving? I mean, I don't particularly buy into that as much. I think players leaving, however big they are to the club, is a part of football.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask
Yeah,
a
go on.
question? It's on my mind, and we had a sort of a brief conversation about it the other day, and I want to bring it up now. Do you think the players are pissed off with Farker?
I mean, I feel like a few of them might be frustrated with how he's setting them up. Definitely, because I feel like there's players in that team that may be under a different coach, under a different way of thinking, different formation, tactics, could be performing a lot better. But like you say, I think I don't even mind in a sense that he sets us up like that initially. My issue is that he can't change things mid-game. His in-game management is diabolical. His subs and his reluctance to make subs. Like, fair enough, he made subs today at 0-0. And actually, he made them on, I think it was the 63rd minute. So it was earlier than 70. So that's another bonus. Again, I'm clutching at straws. But yeah, I can kind of get on board with that, mate. Is that what you're thinking? Do you think a few of them are annoyed at Fark?
Yeah, sorry,
Or all of them?
I'm just laughing at Michael's comment down here about Piroe and Farker did say earlier in the summer that if a player leaves during the window, a like-for-like replacement will be found. I'm still waiting, Michael, mate. I'm still waiting, buddy. Bear in mind, 27 or 28 days ago since we got rid of Tree Somerville, and I'm still waiting. So
is this the guy that said that he does contracts in his sleep?
apparently.
Is this the same Parag Marate? Well, yeah. Hopefully he's sleeping a lot over the next 6 days. Premiership contenders, we are having a laugh. Yeah, at the minute, mate. Yeah, but you know, as a potential signing, though, are you going to be having a look at this and thinking that it's something you want to be part of? Could Fark be a factor in a player maybe not wanting to come? Like you've said, you know, something's clearly not working. Whether it's personnel, whether it's him tactically, is a player maybe like let's use Jack Clark as an example. Is he going to be having a look at this and thinking, yeah, I want some of this? Or is he thinking, no, I'll take a Prem move?
So, yeah, well, it depends. I mean, realistically, the Prem money, it's proven out. I mean, Sammy Smodics, I mean, Blackburn told Sammy Smodics that he's never leaving Blackburn. They had a time frame until the end of July, and you know they were never going to get rid of him. And next thing you know, because Ipswich came in with a load of money, Blackburn obviously couldn't turn it down, and now he's obviously an Ipswich player. So the Premier League holds that massive cloud over anybody. But to answer your question, Charlie, about bringing players in, you look at Leeds United as a sleeping giant, as we like to call it. Yeah, it would attract many players, but you've also got to flip on the other side. The amount of loan players that we've had at Leeds United and not got utilised and not got played properly. I mean, Jed Spence obviously was one. I didn't like Jed Spence, but I could see his frustration. He wanted to play right back, and he kept getting played left back. Jane Anthony, fantastic asset, played really well in a few games, scored a few goals, never got played. And this is the thing. This is the issue. I know he doesn't want loans, but if that's the market we're looking at, is loan players. We're not going to get any loan players. He's going to come to Leeds United because he
said he doesn't want loans anyway.
Well, this is the thing. This is the thing, and in permanent deals right now, other clubs around us, for example, like Sunderland and Jack Clark, they'll go, oh well, Leeds have just been given X amount of money. We'll provide them with X for that player, and they'll go, well, we can't afford this. Well, it's tough shit then, really, isn't it?
I think
Do you know what I mean?
I think other teams now, they'll know that Leeds are desperate. And that Leeds have got money, and that as a combination just means that we're probably going to get mugged off with fees. I think now, you know, is Jack Clark worth 20 to 25 million? No, not in my opinion. Anyway,
The thing is, though, we knew that them players were going to leave. We knew Archie
Yeah.
was going. We knew Chris Somerville was going, and we knew Rutter would end up going at some point, and also Nonto. And if you didn't know that they were going, then you're in denial and need to get off the fizzy pop. But we knew that they were going. Why weren't they pragmatic, and why didn't they use their initiative and say, right, we're going to put a bid in for a player, get them in over the line early, and then when the player does go, we're already prepared. But
Do you
that's just
still
not on
think
Leeds thing
Nonto
to do.
leaves? Do you still think Nonto leaves?
I do, yeah. If the right bid comes in, if Everton come in for that right bid, I mean, for all we know, Nonto's probably got a release clause. I know they said there's no release clause for him, but it wouldn't surprise me.
There's part of me though that thinks maybe if he was going to go, I think he'd have gone already. I don't know, or is that me just being naive? I don't know, maybe it is. But again, I can't really criticise Nonto that much because I thought everyone was just off today. Everyone was just flat. It did keep dropping deep to try and maybe try to influence things, but again, it wasn't working. But I think you've kind of alluded to this as well, Owen, to be fair, but could there be a call for playing Nonto in the number 10 role? He may not have the same profile as Rutter, but he drives the team up the pitch quickly with his pace. I mean,
I've said this, putting
definitely a
Nonto in the
shout.
10. I've said putting Nonto in the 10. He likes to get in between defenders. He likes to show his ability. He likes to go down when an opportunity comes about. He can also shoot with both feet. He's proven it multiple times against Man U when we're in the Prem. He cut left, cut right, and then slotted it into that bottom left corner. He's proven he can do things like this. He can shoot from outside the box. And why can't we utilize him there? Sack Piroe off, put Nonto in the 10. And unfortunately, right now, until we get a winger, put Aronson on the left. Yes, he doesn't do anything, but at least he's got it there where he can fluctuate for the time being. But I don't think Leeds will do things like this.
The thing with Nonto as well is that I think he's a lot better in tight spaces as well.
100%. It's because of his size.
Exactly, yeah, 100%. I don't know if I'm on board with this. I don't know if I feel sorry for Piroe. He must be an insomniac. I mean,
well said, Jay, mate. Well said.
I don't feel sorry for him in the slightest, really. I think the fact that he's coming out saying that they weren't aware about these release clauses, I just think it's a load of nonsense. Angus Kinnear said the same again, nonsense. Apparently they were instrumental in getting Georgie. So how did they not know that he had a clause?
It was it was a quote they came out with about Red Bull. Red Bull investment is the way to either us keeping a player or signing a player. Yeah. All right, I'm still waiting because 3 of our key assets have gone.
I think this guy could be Isaac's burner account.
Maybe.
Moyes is not going to come to the Championship, is he? Let's be real here. But I wouldn't be totally against it at the minute. But again, I said before the game that obviously if we lost, that there'd be a lot of noise about Farke, like Farke out. Whether you agree with that or not, after that, given we didn't lose, I know the performance was bad. I understand this. But given the result, is Farke still under pressure for you, Owen?
So I'm saying this as a Leeds fan, and I don't wish Farke to be out yet, but I'm going to give it 2 weeks. And if we haven't got players of ilk and caliber of someone who put earlier regarding a like for like of the players that we've got, I could potentially see Farke saying, bollocks to this. I can't even be asked. I'm gone. Because he's not what he got. He came out in a press conference the other day and stated that he did not expect this 12 months before he signed.
Is Farke going to walk?
I don't think he potentially. I don't think he will.
I don't think he'll walk.
I don't think he'll walk, but I generally feel like he'll have more pressure on his shoulders and more likely to be sacked because he hasn't been given them tools.
I think if, by the way, guys, there's 20 of you in the building, which is really good numbers this afternoon. I do appreciate everyone joining in. As I say, please like, please subscribe, get your comments in. Check out Owen at All Leeds Crest and subscribe to the White Wall as well. I think we'll be live tomorrow night to dissect this game. Once we've all had a few pints of vodka to get over it, I think. But but yeah, as I was saying, with Farker, I think it's probably better to judge him once the transfer window closes, because if we do get a few players in the next 2 weeks, then that's for me when the season properly starts. Just given the start that we've had, I think maybe if you give it 4 or 5 games once the transfer window closes, if things haven't kicked on, or at least if things don't seem like they're improving game by game, I think there will be a lot of pressure on him then. Granted, the opening few fixtures are not exactly easy ones. Obviously there's Sheff Wednesday next week, which, I get it was Wayne Rooney's Plymouth that they played last week, but they did look really good. They've got Sunderland, I think, tomorrow. So again, be interesting to see how they get on there. Then we've got a Yorkshire derby against Hull prior to the international break, which again, no matter how both teams are going into that, it's a derby. Anything can happen. And then first game after the international break, we've got Burnley.
Three hard games, man. Three very, very difficult games. I'd just like to point out as well, Burnley are currently 1-0 up against Cardiff.
And is that how many minutes in are we talking? 15. So
15 minutes in. They're already 1-0 up.
And it's mad as well that Portsmouth couldn't break down a 10-man Luton after a draw last week. Then there's Borough, who, even though they made 7 changes, they battered us the other night, but yet got beat by Derby today. So the Championship is a bit up and down. I get that, but we don't care about other teams. We care about Leeds. And the next 3 games, like you say, I mean, how realistically, as we're sat here now, how many points do we get out of the next 3? I'm going to go with...
Ask me again after 2 weeks.
Well, I mean...
With this squad...
games next week.
With this squad currently that we've got,
yeah,
I'd be lucky if we got top 6. Very lucky.
Yeah.
This squad won't be good enough to maintain top 2.
It sounds, again, really bleak to say this, but if the squad is as it is now, on the day we play Sheff Wednesday next week, I'd take another point, I think. Genuinely. I think it's that bad at the minute, because I think we're going to see another performance like that, if not maybe worse, because I think Sheff Wednesday, again, it's a Yorkshire derby. They hate us with a passion. I know every team does, but they really, there's a bit of needle there, isn't there, between us and them. At Hillsborough, their crowd will be up for it. I can just see that. I can see that being a very, very long night, in all honesty. But I'll see what other comments we've got in, because like I say, guys, I don't really know what else I've got left to say on the game specifically, because there wasn't enough there really for me to get excited about. There's nothing positive about that game at all, other than the fact that it was an unbeaten one. Owen, I don't know if you've got any positivity about the game specifically.
Like I said, I think the defensively were fine. I could see going forward. I could see going forward what we tried to do. There is that missing link. I know there's a comment I think that Michael put up regarding about Sheffield United and Burnley, and are we worried about them pulling away? No, because if we use our initiative and we use the window wisely now, I mean, it won't take us long to get. I'm talking hypothetically, a touch wood. It shouldn't take us long to get the 3 key assets in. 13 days for 3 players is not undoable. It is doable. And if we get them, what? Oh, Sheffield United, be fine. I'm not bothered. Yeah. Leicester City were what? How many points were they ahead? 11, 17, 17 points ahead of us. And we managed to pull it back. So they've still got to go through. They've still got to go through a grey area and a bad patch. Do you know what I mean?
Are you on? Let's just see what happens. Are you on the same wavelength as Mark here? I don't think I am just yet, but.
No, I think with me, Mark, I'm borderline, but I think he failed last season. I've said this, I will say this till I'm blue in the face. He failed last season with the best team in the league, and it is his fault we didn't get promoted. It's his fault statistically and tactically why we didn't go up last season. This season is down to the 49ers and Red Bull and whoever else to invest and get players in to stabilise us to be as competitive as possible this season. Now, 13 days, get 3 players in, then see what happens. After the 2 weeks, let's see what happens. But right now, we can't really judge. Let's just see what happens.
I'm definitely in disagreement with Mark here. I think he said earlier on in the comments that Jack Clark's got an attitude problem. I mean, I don't think I've heard that being said, but needs must at the minute. Needs must. I would still take
everyone's
him.
got an attitude problem these days, aren't they?
Well, yeah, Crescencio Somerville. I bet Georgie had one behind closed doors. Yeah,
I bet they all have. I bet they're all. I bet in their group chats they're all slagging each other off.
Yeah, Dr. Adam Pope, 100%.
Bring back Phil Hay.
We'd sold £140 million, the other 23 club. Exactly, we've sold more than the other clubs in this whole league, which tells you everything that you need to know. But yeah, I think, we've been going just over 40 minutes. I think we can leave it there for today. Like I say, guys, I do appreciate everybody that tuned in this morning on the morning show. Appreciate everyone that's tuned in today as well. We've had some good numbers on the channel over the last few days, which is really appreciated. Like I say, guys, make sure you're liking this, commenting on this if you're watching after, subscribing. I want to get 3K as soon as possible. That's my next goal. We're not that far off it. So if you could help me out with that, that'd be great. Hit the notification bell. Check out Owen at All Leeds Crest as well. His TikTok is hilarious when he gets going, so make sure that you check him out. And
I'm actually quite mild at the moment, so
yeah,
you guys are lucky. If we lost, we'd be a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, I think everybody would have had popcorn, I think, if we'd have lost that, just in preparation for it, mate, to be fair. And obviously check out the White Wall as well. I believe we'll be live tomorrow at about
8 o'clock.
Probably 8 o'clock tomorrow on the White Wall live. Yeah, where there'll be me, there'll be obviously Owen, there'll be Isaac, there'll be Longy, hopefully Mike as well. Oh no, Mike's away, isn't he? I think Mike's on holiday.
Mike's going to go to Disneyland, lucky bugger.
Yeah, which I think I'd rather be going to Disneyland as well after watching that. But yeah, like I say, guys, we'll be live on the White Wall tomorrow, so make sure you check out that. Alfie, another donation. Really do appreciate that, fella. Appreciate all the support. And yeah, try to enjoy the rest of your Saturday, guys. I'll have a pre-recorded, just a solo, sort of rant maybe about that game. I don't know how I'll kind of frame it yet, but it'll be out at 7 o'clock tonight. So make sure you tune in for that as well. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday, and we'll see you in a bit. Cheers.